Hi everyone, welcome back to Tour to Better Us. Hey, look who we have back on again, Kim and Ashton.
Yay!
Hi.
With a twist, they're going to be interviewing us, and they prepared their own questions.
Looking forward to it.
Excellent.
Um,
So I guess I would like to start off. I'm not sure how much your viewers know already, but I'm just wondering, what's your story? You know, how long have the two of you been together? When did you decide to travel? How long have you been traveling? What's your 5-year plan?
oh my God,
Yeah.
I just met her last week.
Yeah.
So you go ahead first, ladies first.
Okay. So we met in Italy. We both studied abroad there in a tiny village, and that's where we met.
That was back in 2012.
Back in 2012. Yeah, it took a little while to actually. Well, we became friends, and then we started dating,
And then we were torn apart by
and then it was
distance.
time to leave.
So for the next year after that, we was just kind of her flying to the US or me flying to Europe, just
Wow.
back and forth, a lot of video messaging, text messaging.
Wow.
And then at the end of 2013, she moved over and we got married. And then we
Yep.
started the whole process for her to become a US citizen.
Awesome.
Oh my goodness, that's fantastic. So then when did you decide, and how did you decide, you know what, we want to travel together long term?
Good question. That was actually one of the, I don't know, like, I wouldn't say stipulation, but just my family was difficult about me moving away. So she said, okay, I'll move there, but I still want to travel. So after we get done, finish the paperwork, our thing is like, we're going to travel. I was like, oh no, we get to travel. What a dilemma. So
Yeah.
3 years later, we got everything set up.
Mhm.
And
Wow.
And we left.
So you've been now traveling for 3 years then, yes?
oh,
No.
go
Okay.
ahead. No,
Yeah.
go ahead.
So I moved there at the end of 2013. We left in 2017, at the end of 2017. So
Yeah,
well,
okay.
it was 4 years
Yeah,
actually.
the citizenship, the
Mhm.
green card plus citizenship in the
Took
US
4
took
years.
about 4 years total.
Yeah.
Oh, pretty good.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's been a year and a half, a
Yeah.
little more than a year and a half.
Yeah, since we've been on the road.
Exciting.
And then how much longer do you plan on traveling?
Indefinitely for right now.
Yeah, we have no answer to that. The reason we're traveling too is because we hope to find a place where we want to settle down, but we haven't found it yet.
Also,
Yeah.
out of this, we're looking to just kind of grow as people. Also, maybe we'll get some business ideas because we want to be able to work kind of online, which we are, but at a bigger scale, to support ourselves more. That way, if we have kids and everything, we can spend time with them, not just be 9 to 5 and enjoy everything on the weekends.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I really like that, exploring new business ventures, because you're both teachers, online teachers, right? But you're always on the lookout for other opportunities then.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Great. Okay, so I guess we'll start with some more questions. Okay. Okay, so name and describe a confusing situation you've both been in. Maybe you were lost, or the day had an unexpected turn, and how did you guys together work towards it or overcome it?
Well, I guess we can each say one. First, I guess when we got married was really one of our most challenging things. Not because we didn't like each other, but it's just one that was really pretty much the day. Well, 2 days before the wedding, 3 days is the first time I even met her mom.
Right.
And her dad I met once before, and he wasn't super fond of taking his little girl. Then we had my family on the other side who just had a lot of issues with me moving or anything. So there was a lot of difficulty there. The resolution was that I went along with it, even though they disapproved, because she was the love of my life and
Great.
my partner. So, ever since then, things got better, but that was one of the challenges things, is finding a way to keep everybody happy and for us to be happy.
Oh, that's really nice. And then in terms of traveling, like while you were on the road, did you have other situations arise? Like, for when we were traveling, we missed buses sometimes and other things. Did you have to do some last minute change of plans?
I wouldn't say that. Our biggest issue in the beginning was just that we left the US without jobs, without anything, very little savings. We kind of jumped in and just, we'll make it work one way or another. So that was really the hardest travel thing. But usually we plan ahead a lot. Oh, she does weeks. So we usually have the plane tickets, bus schedules, everything mapped out. So that hasn't been.
But we haven't had any big problems at all.
Good.
In Ecuador and Colombia, Ubers just either show up or don't show up or take like 20 minutes to show up. That's annoying.
But we haven't missed a plane. We haven't missed a bus.
Good.
Wow.
That's fantastic.
Okay.
Very well organized. Yeah, that's great.
Well, that's the best way to travel then. Well done.
Now you have me worried.
Yeah.
So far, so good.
Yeah. So I'm wondering, I'm sure that a lot of your viewers as travelers are wondering, you'd mentioned the work aspect. So a lot of people wonder, how much does it actually cost? So do you have a monthly budget? Do you not have a budget plan? What are you spending per month? What are you earning per month, if you don't mind disclosing?
I actually have to follow that up with the question, what's a budget?
Usually I would say that it depends on the cities and the countries, but usually I think we spend around $2,000 to $2,500 a month. And so
yeah. I wasn't thinking about the small trips within the country.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All in all, and we try to make at least $3,000 a month between the two of us, or more if we can, so we can save some money too.
Mm-hmm.
So,
we definitely spend less than that then, because we also have the taxes we put aside.
Yeah, because we also put the taxes.
It's probably 15 to 2,000.
Yeah.
And that, because usually
on
Airbnbs are the most expensive thing, because there's two of us teaching, so we need enough space where our voices don't cross one another.
Mm-hmm.
So that's usually an average of a month, about 800, what we've seen across the countries.
Yeah.
And and then just we budget a lot. We usually plan how much we expect to spend on transportation, groceries. We don't eat out too much. Usually we talk to the locals and our tour guides and stuff. Where's the cheap place to eat some good local food? So we usually have everything mapped out, so we stay on course.
I guess it mostly depends on the trips we're taking that month. Like, for example, in Chile, we took a few big trips, so then the budget just went up.
But in Peru, we only did Machu Picchu, really, and like one little side trip. In Argentina, only Iguazu, so that wasn't bad. So just that fluctuates, but outside of that, we budget for everything, entertainment, food, all that.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, that's fantastic. And actually that was leading to my next question, which is how much money do you allocate toward tours and stuff? Do you do like bus groups, or do you do the free walking tours where you go?
Free walking tours.
And
but, I mean, those weren't really tours. It's just like in Peru, we take a Peru hop that takes you to some cities, like one of the cheapest touring companies, but it's mostly just for the transportation, the accommodation they provide, and just makes things easier. Since we teach, we don't want to spend too much time worrying because we need to get back on time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But we mostly do free walking tours, so we just do the gratuity. But that also helps because they're usually people from here and know a lot of the local spots to hit.
And do you ever rent a car in different countries or no?
No, never.
We did in Chile, just a van.
Oh, right.
The van we slept in for a week.
That was also our house. So. But no, usually so here in Colombia, we've used Uber a lot, which we usually don't. Yes, because we usually just use buses or metros. And
it was more in Ecuador because they don't have a metro system. And their traffic is crazy, so we didn't know about the buses. But in Colombia, we're starting. But we're also not here as long because we're changing cities so much. So we're trying to make the most out of the time. But if we have a lot of time, usually we use public transportation.
And so in terms of choosing some of your small trips within a country, how do you prioritize, or do you prioritize, or do you do some research and then you're like, we really want to do this?
I feel like that's a work in progress for me, because I always want to do everything. So,
Fear of missing out.
so then I need to go through the budget person and
gatekeeper.
Yeah.
Well, I think I used to be like that a lot more, where I just,
it's the beginning.
in the beginning where we weren't staying long term, it's like, oh, we have a few days, we have to see every little thing, oh my God. Then as we slowed down, I just thought, well, we have time, let's see the city we're staying in. And then, like in Peru, you have to see Machu Picchu. There's other reasons to go to Peru, but then I was like, I really want to see the Nazca lines. Everything else I don't care about. And then I went to see that. So it's a work in progress. We're trying not to overwhelm ourselves. And then who did we get? Was it them we got the tip from? Like picking that one thing?
Yeah, one thing per place.
The one thing per place, yeah. So we're trying to go more towards that.
Cool.
So thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, and I guess I'm wondering too, you've mentioned kind of slowing down the pace. Do you have a routine and schedule, especially with teaching? Like, how do you break it up in terms of sightseeing and work and socializing and social media and all of those things to balance?
Well, usually, for the teaching, it's easy, because usually it's every morning from, depending. So for example, here it's 6 to 9 a.m. In Chile or Argentina, it was 7 to 11 a.m. And then we also work some Fridays and Saturdays
evenings.
During the evenings. And the rest of the day, it changes a lot.
For here, and since we've been in Medellin just a couple or 6 days, and we're going to a yoga retreat next week. We have a lot of videos to plan ahead, about 4 or 5. So it's been interesting here, having to do all that, plus going to all the walking tours. So we really have to get really detailed. Okay, we have this time to this time to do this. So if we're really tight on our schedule, we really note it down and plan ahead. If we kind of have all the time, we just work whenever we feel like it.
Okay, so it seems like sometimes, depending on what's coming up, you'll have to plan very detailed, and other times it's more flexible and there's a lot more freedom.
Yeah.
Nice.
Cool. Okay, so kind of moving in a different direction with questions. So most of the time, or from our perspective when we were getting asked questions, is about the destination. And so this question's more about the journey. So can you name a time where you guys were in the airport and something interesting or funny or awkward happened that kind of stood out in your mind?
I think of Mauritius. It was not about us.
So. Oh, I don't know if they're talking about that.
No.
Are you talking about, because we saw somebody once have a bunch of special
adult
toys and
that
got pulled to the side.
I think that counts. Go ahead, yeah.
They got pulled to the side and we couldn't understand why.
We just heard a lot of whispering, like everybody was red. It's like the guard, the security guards, the lady. Eventually I see some furry handcuffs holding up. And the lady, I think, was just like, hey, keep them, just go.
It's okay.
That definitely counts, yeah.
But aside from that, anything, have we gotten in trouble? But I don't know, I guess the scissors, I don't know.
No, before.
The one?
The bag.
Which one?
The first in Barcelona, I think.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I forgot about it. So we brought our own contraception from the US, I should say, because it's just the better quality we found. So we took a lot because we'll be gone for months. So the security lady opened it, looks like, are you guys newlyweds? No, we just for these ones.
Okay, can I put it back now? Yeah, that was
the one.
They're asking if you're trying to sell it in other countries.
No, at least they didn't. Yeah, at least they didn't ask that. But I think that would have been, I feel like it would have been less awkward, more interesting.
just opening it in front of everyone else at the airport.
Well, where did you get that bag? Oh.
I feel like she was more embarrassed because I was, to me, I was just laughing it off. It's like, oh, I mean, we knew what we were getting ourselves into. It happens. We're being responsible. That's what matters.
Oh, that's great.
Oh. I had forgotten about that. That was a good question.
That was a good question, yeah.
Yeah, we always find that airports have interesting moments. They see the best and the worst of people, and they see the background stories. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Insight into people's lives.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So I have a question. I know that both of you are really into exercise. I noticed that, you know, you like to do some pole dancing and maybe some home workouts as well. So how do you guys, again, balance that? Do you incorporate it into your routine? Do you just go sightseeing and walking, or do you have something more regimented?
You go to pole dance? You told me you hang out with some friends. What?
It's actually interesting because when I took the pole classes in Ecuador, the lady actually told me that a lot of her clients don't tell their husbands that they go to classes. Like, oh, okay, why not? But anyway,
machismo society.
Right. So I guess for you, it's more of a regimen.
Well, for me, it's just since I was 16, I started working out regularly, and it's just become a habit. I just can't really go without exercising regularly. So I either at home, a park, if we're lucky and can afford a gym somewhere, but usually they're too expensive everywhere.
Yes.
So that's for me.
Mm-hmm. And for me, I had a long period. I mean, a few months of no exercise at all. So I'm in the process of getting back into it. And yeah, like you said, so it depends. Right now when I was in Quito, it was pole, and now it's more home workouts. It just depends on what I have around.
Okay, and then in addition to that, do you do dancing classes and other things together?
We were taking, in the beginning of South America, we were doing a lot of salsa classes. That was just more for us to learn salsa, and just because we always like dancing. It wasn't usually stuff like that. We don't consider exercise. It's just more fun.
But yeah, we've done that in Peru, Chile,
Argentina.
But after that, we were not staying long enough
to really take advantage of it.
Now, you guys, I know you've been in a lot of hot countries. Do you ever go to other countries when it's like winter time, and how does that impact things? Are you like, I'm too cold, I can't move?
we plan all our trips around staying in warm climates.
Yes, first because we don't have, we have one small jacket each, so we can't really.
Okay. And we also don't want to, the thicker the clothes, the more space you need, so we don't want to switch back to a big suitcase. We've been enjoying just a backpack. So, that's like the third reason on the list. The first two are we don't like the cold.
Fair enough.
In South America, we started Peru and just kind of ran towards warm weather.
Because it started getting cold in Argentina, so then we came up.
And we're going to the US, and it's summer. Canada, it's summer.
Nice.
Yeah, really well planned.
Yeah. Okay, another question for me about choosing the destination. Do you guys consider yourself more city people or countryside people? And when you're making a decision of where you're staying, do you break it down kind of like most of the time you'll be in the cities or most of the time in the countryside?
City.
Yeah.
Definitely city.
Usually it's
which is strange because we don't like being crowded by people, but I guess we just like being around modern things.
Yes, that's
which is the reason why when we work, we take days off on the weekend instead of the weekends. That way, weekdays not the weekends, because everybody's in the city in the weekends, so we don't mind working. But in the weekdays, it's a lot more quiet.
But we went to Punta del Este in Uruguay just for 5 days. In Punta del Este for 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
And it's a very small city. In the summer it's really busy, but in the winter it's not, and we actually really liked it.
It's like it's a little beach city. But apparently there's only like 70,000 people in the winter and like 500,000 in the summer.
Oh wow! So yeah,
So we like
a lot of tourism,
but modern but small, I guess, would be our
small
middle point.
cities, by the sea.
By the sea.
I like that. And in terms of your maintenance, if you will, physical maintenance, any health insurance that you have? When do you go to the dentist? Do you go back home? Do you do it abroad? Do you go to the doctor's office? All of those things.
Oh, that's really good. So since we left the U.S., we haven't had any more insurance. So we've had to buy traveler's insurance. We don't have one particular company though. We just kind of go with who has the best rate at the time because we usually get 6-month or 1-year plans. And then before we go to the U.S. every month, we get like a 1-month U.S. insurance.
For the U.S. And usually we do our checkups in France because it's cheaper.
Okay.
So and in the US too, because they have
like
the free
physicals.
The free physicals
sometimes, and then dentists. Yeah, we do it in France because it's like a checkup for like $40.
Great.
Okay, so when you go home to visit family, you're also, getting those checkups done before you head back on the road.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because the insurance is only really for
emergencies.
So
yes,
right.
Yes.
Like if we get sick while going to Machu Picchu or something.
who did that?
Yeah, who does that? Crazy.
Yeah, true. I have one final question. How much time do you guys spend together when you're traveling, and how much time apart? Do you do sightseeing, everything together, or do you do your own separate things?
Excellent question. Because
we're trying to work on this because I'm very.
She's an only child.
Yes, I'm very.
You need your space.
I need my space. Yeah, I need my space after
Independent.
Yeah. So we're trying to work on that and spend a little less time together because right now we're together all the time. Basically.
We use a strong word. For me, I'm easygoing. I could be next to her all day. I could just kind of be on my own thing and just zone out and just feel like I'm in a different place. So physically, I don't need to be anywhere. Mentally, I can be anywhere. So, but in terms of we do the sightseeing usually we want to see the same things, same places. So, but sometimes when there's a museum or something she likes and I don't like, I don't go. Yeah. So we don't force each other to go unless it's something really interesting.
Yeah, but usually we like the same kind of things. So
yeah, that helps.
Yeah.
But in terms of giving space, it's a little hard since we do work together all the time and have to have kind of the same schedule. And it's kind of not fair to go, hey, can you go across the street? Just go.
Go for a walk.
Yeah, so it's a work in progress. That's another tip we saw from other people besides the one place from you guys. So we're trying to apply everything we're learning from these interviews to ourselves.
Okay, so you work in separate rooms, but then you go sightseeing together, and now you're kind of exploring the idea of maybe let's go to a cafe or something and just have separate time to, I don't know, while you're budget planning or something like that, or what would you do during the times apart?
Well, really, I would just maybe work on a blog post or watch YouTube videos, but not of ourselves. It's just finding ways because it's also that
videos.
Exactly on Instagram. Oh, look at that kitty. But it's a balance. Is trying to work because we also work on the YouTube videos together, on the blog together, Instagram together, VIP Kid together. So it's really challenging to separate us from work us. So that's really been the most challenging part as of recently. Especially the more videos we do, more interviews we do and everything, it's just, it's a lot, Because we also have to, it's like, okay, tonight we get away from the computers and we go on a date.
It's only us. Like, there's nothing else. We don't talk about work or anything.
That's it.
Although it's hard because we're always in a planning mood. Okay.
Especially me.
So we sit down and next thing you know, it's like, so for China, we need that visa. No. Talk about the flowers. So pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
You know, we found something similar when we were traveling. We would have, you got this like, it's an app where it comes up with conversation starters, because we found that when we were together all day long,
You just default to work.
right,
You start talking about work.
talking about the exact same things. So it was nice to just have something prompt you for a different topic.
actually send us that, and
Yes.
that way we can actually put also at the bottom of the video. Maybe other people want to get it, and then we want to use that.
Yeah.
So yeah, send that our way.
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good.
Yeah, okay.
All right, cool. Okay, well, that's it for me.
Yeah,
Do
you,
have any
you
questions?
survived the question.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Is there anything else that you want your viewers to know about your journey or about the behind the scenes of travel or anything?
Just keep watching because we have no idea what's coming next. Well, we know China's coming up, but for next year, Asia, we're really kind of terrified about, because she's been to South America before, so she made the plan, everything all nice and pretty. So Asia will be something new.
And crowded, so that should be interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no more of those small, quaint cities for you.
Yeah.
No, but it'll be okay. We'll just stay in the apartment all day.
We'll just go outside to eat Asian food.
Yeah.
I'm so
Yeah,
excited
it'd be
about
really
that.
cheap and accessible.
I'm glad I have you as my travel buddy.
Aw. Well, good luck. Thanks for having us on your show. It's a pleasure as always.
No, thank you
Thank
for asking
you.
us, taking the time.
Oh, you're welcome.
And if you guys want to see them again and again and again, just keep letting us know down below. And if you have any own particular questions, we'll hopefully have them ask again. You guys, great questions.
Yeah, great questions.
Oh,
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Pressure off.
Good luck with all your traveling, and hopefully we'll meet soon.
Sounds good.
Bye.
Bye.